Hello, this is Chapter 1 review for General Chemistry. The big ideas of Chapter 1 is matter and its properties and elements. So what is matter? Matter is everything that has a volume and a mass. The definition of a volume is the amount of a three-dimensional space an object occupies, and the definition of mass is a measurement of the amount of matter. So what is matter made out of? Matter is made out of atoms, elements, and compounds. An atom is the smallest unit of a chemical element, and it cannot be broken down into simpler substances. Elements are a type of molecule which are made up of the same atoms, and they are considered pure substances. On the other hand, compounds are molecules which are made up of different atoms. So an example of an element would be oxygen gas, which is just two oxygen atoms, but a compound would be something like carbon dioxide, which is made up of a carbon atom and two oxygen atoms. So properties in matter. So in matter, there are extensive and intensive properties. So when you hear extensive, you want to think of the X, which is for external. So these properties depend on the amount of matter that is present. So some examples of these is mass, volume, and amount of energy that is present in that substance. And then for intensive properties, we want to look at the IN for in, which is internal. So these properties do not depend on the amount of matter that is present. So the boiling point, melting point, density, and the substance ability to conduct electricity are all intensive properties. Physical properties are characteristics that can be observed or measured without changing the chemical's identity. And chemical properties relate to a substance's ability to undergo a chemical reaction. So physical versus chemical changes. A physical change occurs when a change in a substance does not involve a change in the chemical's identity. So if you have water and water as a liquid and then goes to water as a gas, that is an example of a physical change because you still have water in this side and you have water, but it's just in a different form on the other side. On the other hand, a chemical change occurs when a substance causes a change in the substance chemical identity. So in this case, we'd have something like the carbon plus an oxygen going to carbon dioxide. So the classification of matter. So your book does a good job of building a flowchart here, which kind of like distincts what the different types of matters are. So if a matter can be separated, it's classified as a mixture. And there's two types of mixtures. So you have homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. So homogeneous, if you look at the root word for there, which is homo, it's the Latin word for same. So they look the same. So they have uniform composition. If you look at heterogeneous, it has the root hetero, which means of different. It's a Latin word for different. So their composition is not uniform. So if matter cannot be separated, it is classified as a pure substance. And then there's two types of pure substances, which are compounds and elements. So elements cannot be further decomposed into different things. So gold is an element, aluminum is an element. But for compounds, they can be further decomposed into different things. For example, sodium chloride, which is NaCl, can be decomposed into Na and Cl. So the periodic table of elements. So These are on the periodic table of elements. They are classified by groups and periods. That's how they're arranged. So periods, they go horizontal, and groups go vertical. So the way I remember this is that there are 7 periods in the periodic table, and there are about 7 periods in a school day. It's 8, but it's close enough. And so chemical properties of the periodic table, they are noted in their groups. So in the first group, they have all similar properties. That's the same thing with the second group, all the way to the 18th group. So the first group is alkali metals. The second group is alkali earth metals. And then from 3 to 11 are your transition metals. And then after that, you have your nonmetals and metalloids. So these green colors over here, these are also metals here, but these are not transition metals. These beige colors are your metalloids. And then these yellow colors are nonmetals, and over here is your noble gases. And that is all for chapter 1.